Trying to impress your marketing clients with a real out-of-the-box idea for your next communication campaign? Well, this next creativity tool is a game changer. Random entry is the process of using random words, objects, or images to look for ideas from a completely random starting point. Now, this might seem counterproductive at first, but once I show you how it's done, you'll be able to really appreciate the power of this tool. It's the best tool to use when you need a large volume of ideas, particularly when you're trying to be innovative or disruptive in your field. Unlike the previous tool, the mind map, random entry doesn't actually require any writing, drawing, and it doesn't take very long. All you need is access to something random, which you can do through your laptop or your phone. So let me show you how it works. But first, and before you start, you need to be very clear about what exactly you're trying to achieve. What's your objective? Do you need an idea for a video? Maybe a poster? Or perhaps you need a creative platform for a patient awareness campaign. So let's start there. There are 3 ways to gain random entry into the creativity minefield. The first one is using random words. The process is simple. Start by picking a random word from a book, a magazine, maybe a dictionary, or just go online and generate something random. So how about the word llama? You know, the animal from The Emperor's New Groove. I love that film. Ask yourself the question, how does my word relate to my objective? What does a llama have to do with a patient awareness campaign? Well, probably nothing, and you might be right. We are categorically nowhere near the box. But that's fine. It just means that we still have some work to do. So, start to create word associations where each new word is somehow linked to the previous. Starting with llama, we can think of its fur or wool. We can make clothes out of wool. And also, clothes are something we buy when we go shopping. And this whole process is usually influenced or regulated by the fashion industry. So let's pause there for a moment. As you can see, we've made some progress. And we've moved away from a llama and into the fashion industry. So let's ask the same question again. How does the fashion industry relate to my patient awareness campaign? Well, we probably have an idea here. Can we leverage the fashion industry to create awareness? I think we can. How about fashionable campaign garments that can be worn, bought, or exchanged, while at the same time raising awareness for our campaign? Maybe even a fashion show with your patient advocacy members as participants. I have seen something like this already in healthcare, so it can work. So there you go. Starting with a random word, we were able to create word associations that slowly got us closer to our campaign objective, until we landed on a new idea. Write it down, pick a brand new random word, and do this as many times as you like. So let's take a quick detour to explain why this is such an effective tool. In a previous video, I explained that our own brain will often pick the path of least resistance. This is like being in the forest and walking down the same path over and over again until it becomes so wide that it makes no sense to walk anywhere else. The random entry tool instead throws you in a completely random starting point, and it forces you to find your way back to the solution. Along the way, you may discover new and unexpected ideas that you just couldn't have conceived previously using the traditional ways of thinking. The second way to gain random entry is via random objects. Objects are in fact still words, but they have a physical presence and can be fun to play with. This second way is actually a pretty cool way to break the ice and get a little creatively warmed up in a brainstorm. Scout your home or office for various random objects and go through a similar process as before. Let's start with something common like a ball. What does a ball have to do with our patient awareness campaign? Well, nothing yet. So let's create some word associations. We can use a ball to play football. It can be kicked. We can also pass the ball. But what else can we pass? How about campaign awareness materials that encourage people to pass them forward to their family, friends, or even strangers? And there we go. Another potential idea that with a little bit of finessing could be an interesting tactic for a campaign. Finally, and this is my favorite, the third way to gain random entry is with random images. I'm in fact quite a visual person, and I generally find it easier to work with images. Well, easier than working with words, at least. But you might be different, and that's okay. There are many ways to generate a random image, but it doesn't always have to be completely random. The goal is just to start with an image. Here's how I do it. Sometimes I would use an old personal Tumblr blog where I would collect various images and inspiration to refer back to. I also used to use an actual physical scrapbook with pages that I've put in various different curated images specifically designed for this exercise, and I would leaf through it in person. These days, however, I just use a personal Pinterest board that serves the same purpose. Maybe you start with a cool little illustration of a dog. Once again, not much relevance to our objective. Yet, a dog is of course a pet, and there are many things we can do to a pet. We can play with it, we can stroke it, maybe we can even brush it. And if we do brush it, we're going to need some kind of dog grooming kit. And what does a grooming kit have to do with a patient awareness campaign? Well, maybe there is scope for some kind of grooming kit for people. So how about we create a wellness kit containing everything a patient would need to overcome a disease flare or relapse. So you see, we started with a dog and we ended up with a tangible, actionable idea for our campaign. The interesting thing is that you can actually use the same group of starting images. But remember, as long as you have a different endpoint, which is your communication objective, even the same images can sometimes lead you down a different path of thinking, revealing different ideas. So random entry is a great tool that you can use to break away from traditional thinking and take an unconventional route to new ideas. You can use images, words, or objects to help you unlock new possibilities. It can be challenging at first, but you just need to keep practicing. Start with something random and see how quickly you can navigate back to something useful. It does need effort, but as you can see, the process is simple. For more creativity tools like this one, you can check out our creativity manual. You will find a link in the description. But for now, keep practicing, and I'll see you soon.